Okay, hi, this is Victor, and in this presentation you will see two videos, one with the Vice President, the other with the felon and former president. You can compare the messages each of them present to us. One of them is a convicted felon who continually calls the other one names and exhibits childlike behavior. The other one talks about subjects that are relevant to the population and seeks to accomplish work for the people. They both have experience with the legal system. One is a felon with years of experience as a defendant in sexual, financial, and fraud-related crimes. The other has years of experience in placing people that commit those exact crimes behind bars. My input: I expect a well-educated lawyer to benefit the country much better. Please watch the two videos.
Donald Trump has wasted no time waging war on his likely opponent, Kamala Harris. The former president has redirected his fury from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris seemingly overnight, slinging insults at the VP every chance he gets. Sky News All-Stars Liz Storer, Chris Kenny and Peter Stefanovic take a look at Trump's savage treatment of Kamala Harris. Donald Trump is on a warpath and has Kamala Harris in his sights. Ever since Joe Biden dropped out of the race and endorsed Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee, Donald Trump has savagely thrown insults her way, calling her a radical left lunatic for starters, reveals Sky News All-Star Peter Stefanovic.
We're going to take you live to Charlotte in North Carolina. Donald Trump, the nominee for the Republican Party, is speaking. His wound there still slightly patched up by a smaller Band-Aid. It's getting smaller and smaller, showing that that wound is healing. But this all comes 90 minutes before Joe Biden's to address the nation today. So let's listen into Donald Trump for a bit.
We're going to throw you out using the 25th Amendment. That's what happened, you know that. So what? Well, you know that. That's what happens. That's what happens. These are nasty people, the Democrats, so we better beat them or we're not going to have a country left. You're not going to have a country left. So now we have a new victim to defeat. Lion Kamala Harris. Lion. L-Y-I-N apostrophe. The most incompetent and far left.
Now, Meathead, and I call him Meathead because he's dead from the neck up, and a felon, is a proven liar and most incompetent president we've ever had.
Vice president in American history. By the way, they did a poll. She was rated the worst vice president in history. I've
That's a goddamn lie.
seen that poll before, but that's the poll. Together we will win North Carolina in an epic landslide. We're way ahead in the poll. And we will take back that beautiful White House, and we will very simply make America great again. For 3.5 years, Lion Kamala Harris has been the ultra-liberal driving force behind every single Biden catastrophe. She is a radical left lunatic who will destroy our country if she ever gets...
Okay, enough of this lunatic. He is the lunatic.
Vice President Kamala Harris took the stage in North Carolina and ignited a political blaze with a speech that was both bold and unifying. The heat of the election drama is intensifying with each passing day, and Harris is at the center of it all. But there's more. Her words have done the unthinkable. They've silenced the famously outspoken Donald Trump. Wondering what could have caused the notoriously vocal Trump to be so uncharacteristically mute? The answer lies in Harris's powerful words, a revelation that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Here's what she said, the speech. Vice President Kamala Harris, the first woman and person of color to hold the office, recently delivered a speech in North Carolina that outlined her ambitious economic agenda, a plan not just to recover from recent economic challenges, but to reimagine an economy that works for everyone.
Such as, after years of hard work, You should be able to retire with dignity.
Her recent speech in Raleigh, North Carolina, has sent ripples through the political landscape, marking a significant moment in her campaign. This speech, delivered at Wake Tech Community College, was not just another political address. It was a bold unveiling of her comprehensive economic plan aimed at tackling some of the most pressing issues facing Americans today. With President Biden's unexpected exit from the race, Harris seized the opportunity to present her vision for the future.
I'm entitled to personal attacks. I don't have a lot of respect for her. I don't have a lot of respect for her intelligence. And I think she'll be a terrible president.
While Donald Trump has always been one to criticize, he once called Harris a radical California.
That's all Trump does is moan, bone, bitch, and complain and call people names and criticize. Does he have any ideas in what direction he wants the country to go? No, he hasn't communicated that at all.
Who broke the economy. However, Harris has proposed an opportunity economy as the central theme of her economic plan. She has pledged to make reducing costs and boosting economic security a top priority if she is elected president. This commitment was the overarching theme of her recent address, in which she presented a comprehensive plan to address the financial challenges facing American families. According to reports, her proposals aim to alleviate the economic pressures that have intensified since the pandemic, unfairly affecting vulnerable populations. Her plan involves a range of initiatives designed to decrease financial burdens and promote economic stability for all Americans. One of the most striking aspects of Harris's economic plan is her proposal to construct 3 million new housing units within her first 4 years in office, a significant escalation from the Biden administration's previous goal of 2 million new homes. Harris emphasized the urgency of addressing the housing shortage, which has driven prices to unaffordable levels for many Americans. As president, Harris vows to work with the housing industry to build more homes and rentals that people can afford. She promised to cut through bureaucratic hurdles at all levels of government to make this happen. Harris aims to solve the housing shortage by building 3 million new affordable homes and rentals for the middle class within her first 4 years in office. To encourage the construction of these new housing units, she proposed offering tax breaks to builders who construct properties for first-time homebuyers. Additionally, she announced a $40 billion fund to help local governments find solutions to the lack of housing supply. This aims to provide much-needed financial support to municipalities struggling to keep up with the demand for affordable housing. Harris's speech also addressed the issue of price gouging, which has become a significant concern for many Americans. She pledged to work with Congress to implement a federal ban on price gouging for groceries and other essential goods. This proposal includes granting new authorities to the Federal Trade Commission and state attorneys general to impose penalties on companies that engage in unfair pricing practices. She acknowledged that bills quickly accumulate, citing expenses like food, rent, gas, and prescription medication, leaving many families with little money left at the end of the month. To address this, Harris plans to tackle extreme consolidation in the food industry by curbing the power of large corporations that inflate prices and stifle competition. She aims to support smaller businesses, to create a more competitive market that benefits consumers. In a stark contrast of leadership styles, former President Trump continued to spew misleading rhetoric about the border and immigration, while Vice President Kamala Harris focused on the real issues affecting Americans. Trump's border wall obsession has become a tired refrain, a symbol of his administration's failure to address the complexities of immigration reform. His claims about migrants and the border are about as reliable as a weather forecast from a fortune teller. Meanwhile, Harris concentrated on domestic economic issues, also emphasizing the expansion of the child tax credit as a key part of her plan. She proposed a $6,000 tax cut for families with newborns, positioning her plan in direct competition with GOP vice presidential nominee and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance's proposal for a $5,000 child tax credit expansion. Harris's proposal focuses on providing financial relief to lower and middle-income families, particularly those who need it most. She also expressed her intention to restore the child tax credit to the levels seen during the pandemic-era American Rescue Plan, which would offer working and middle-class families up to $3,600 per child. Additionally, she proposed an earned income tax credit of $1,500 for lower-income workers who are not raising a child. Harris reassured that under her plan, no one earning less than $400,000 a year would pay more in new taxes. Also at the heart of her economic vision is a focus on empowering workers. Harris emphasized the need for fair wages, workers' rights, and ensuring that all Americans have access to quality jobs. She didn't shy away from discussing the struggles of those in low-wage positions who are often left out of the broader economic conversation. She passionately called for a living wage, the right to unionize, and stronger protections against workplace discrimination. It wasn't just about policy, but was also about ensuring dignity and respect for every American worker. Education and innovation were also central to her agenda. She stressed the importance of investing in education at all levels, from early childhood to higher education and job training programs. Harris linked these investments to America's future as a global leader in innovation and technology, arguing that preparing the next generation for the jobs of tomorrow is essential. This includes more investment in STEM education, making college more affordable, and
Now, STEM education: science, technology, engineering, and math. And that is a great goal. That is a wonderful intent. Remember, this is what she intends to do. And the power of intention is great. But remember, it's not a promise. It's just what she intends to do. And there are going to be other people that in the other party that will not agree with her, but she has at least stated her intentions.
Job training programs with the needs of a rapidly evolving economy. She also highlighted the urgent need to close the digital divide that has left many rural and low-income communities without access to the internet, a critical tool for education and economic opportunity in today's world. The weird strategy. The political landscape of 2024 was already a hotbed of tension and drama, but nothing could have prepared the nation for the seismic shift that occurred when Minnesota Governor and Democratic VP nominee Tim Walz dropped a bombshell during a heated debate. In a moment that would be replayed countless times, Walz referred to Republican tactics as weird. The comment was simple, yet its impact was immediate and far-reaching.
Well, it's true. These guys are just weird. And it's, you know, they're running for He-Man Women Haters Club or something. That's what they go at. That's not what people are interested in. Oh, there's something wrong with people when they talk about freedom, freedom to be in your bedroom, freedom to be in your exam room, freedom to tell your kids what they can read. That stuff is weird. They come across weird. They seem obsessed with this.
The public's reaction was nothing short of explosive. Social media platforms lit up with memes, hashtags, and viral videos, all centered around the now infamous weird comment. Within hours, #WeirdRepublicans was trending on Twitter, and the internet was flooded with creative and often hilarious content. It was as if Walz had handed the nation a new lens through which to view the political landscape, and people were eager to look through it. What seemed like a throwaway comment quickly snowballed into a full-blown strategy that left Trump scrambling for a response. Donald Trump, a former reality TV star, convicted felon and millionaire, stood on stage in York, Pennsylvania, trying to convince a small crowd that he is extremely normal.
You know, he said, we're weird. That JD and I are weird. I think we're extremely normal people.
You are weird. Remember, like the guy just said, you're a former reality TV star. And the name of that show was The Apprentice. See, I used to refer to you as the idiot apprentice. But now you have earned the title meathead because you're dead from the neck up. You have no ideas. You originate no ideas. Zero. None. Zilch.
Exactly like he's weird.
The irony was thick, and the audience could feel it. Trump, who has been associated with Jeffrey Epstein, separated families at the border, and made countless misogynistic remarks, claimed he was just like the average American. The absurdity of the situation was not lost on anyone. The Democrats saw an opportunity and seized it. They didn't just call Trump weird, they backed it up with a lot of facts and incidents that painted a picture of a man who was anything but normal. It was not just about labeling. It was about exposing Trump's vulnerabilities and turning his own words and actions against him. The Evangelicals for Harris group also emerged as a powerful force in her campaign strategy. This group launched a series of hard-hitting ads that directly challenged Trump's support among religious voters. They invoked Bible verses to brand Trump as a false prophet and contrasted his inflammatory remarks with clips of him praising authoritarian leaders like Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un. One particularly impactful ad featured the late Billy Graham calling for repentance, followed by a clip of Trump admitting he had never asked God for forgiveness.
Been to the cross and said, Lord, I have sinned. I'm sorry for my sin. I'm willing to change my way of life.
Have you ever asked God for forgiveness? That's a tough question. I'm not sure I have. I don't bring God into that picture. I don't.
The strategy went further with Jerusha Duford, Billy Graham's granddaughter, publicly endorsing Kamala Harris. She pointed out how Trump's behavior had turned young people away from Christianity. This endorsement was a significant blow to Trump, who had long relied on evangelical support. Trump also managed to top himself with a classic Trumpian blunder. During the rally in Pennsylvania, a state that has been a battleground in recent elections, Trump achieved the unthinkable by confusing Pennsylvania with North Carolina.
Now, he used the term Trumpial mistake or something like that. And that's proof that Trump, the more you let Trump speak, eventually he's going to stumble and kick his own self in the butt.
Up so comically disastrous that it almost seems like a punchline crafted for a political satire show. At the rally, Trump was in his element, rallying his supporters with his characteristic bravado and unfiltered rhetoric. The crowd, as always, was eager to hear his take on the state of the nation, his ongoing grievances about the 2020 election, and his predictions for the future. But as Trump began to talk about the state's role in the upcoming election, he somehow slipped into a rant about North Carolina. The confusion was so palpable that even his most loyal supporters had to do a double take. Meanwhile, the Harris campaign has been highlighting Trump's perceived cognitive decline. A book by his nephew, Fred Trump III, has brought attention to the Trump family's history of dementia and raised concerns about Donald Trump's mental acuity. The book's revelations have intensified scrutiny of Trump's erratic behavior and frequent struggles to maintain a coherent message. During his rallies, Trump's attempts to appear normal only made things worse. He referred to himself in the third person, refused to admit he lost the 2020 election, and went off on bizarre tangents. His speech in York, Pennsylvania, where he tried to downplay the weird label, ended up reinforcing it. His refusal to address his election loss and his awkward, self-deprecating jokes only deepened the perception of his instability. However, the situation took a dramatic turn when J.D. Vance, Trump's vice presidential pick, made a controversial comparison between Kamala Harris and Jeffrey Epstein on Fox News. The immediate and intense backlash not only resurfaced Trump's connections to Epstein, but also brought Vance.
He mentioned Trump's cognitive decline. There was a speech that Trump was giving while in Pennsylvania, and he threw out a question saying, "Am I right, North Carolina?" He used the words, he uttered the words North Carolina like he thought he was in North Carolina. And the crowd kind of didn't react to him at all. So that's another example of where maybe he is in cognitive decline.
His own contentious views on domestic violence and rape into the spotlight. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear criticized Vance's poor analogy, noting his history of encouraging women to remain in abusive relationships. As if this wasn't enough, Trump's family members began to distance themselves. His nephew's warnings about dementia, combined with Trump's erratic behavior, underscored the growing concerns about his condition. Even former Trump Chief of Staff and retired Marine General John Kelly dismissed Trump's comparison of the Medal of Honor with the Presidential Medal of Freedom as not even close, further highlighting the difference between Trump's actions and traditional presidential norms. What to know about Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris, the first woman of color to be a major party presidential nominee, secured the 2024 Democratic nomination just one day after President Biden publicly endorsed her, following his withdrawal from the race. The daughter of Jamaican and Indian immigrants, she has reached several historic milestones throughout her career. In 2017, she became the first Indian American senator and was California's first female and South Asian attorney general. Her tenure as vice president, which began in 2021, also marked her as the first woman and the first black or Asian American in the role. Should she win the general election against former President Donald Trump, she would become the first female president of the United States. Harris began her presidential campaign in 2020 with a mix of promising moments and challenges. She gained significant attention for her strong debate performances, especially her incisive questioning of Biden on desegregation and busing, showcasing her prosecutorial skills and readiness to challenge the frontrunner. However, her campaign faced difficulties due to internal conflicts, unclear messaging, and weak fundraising. She faced criticism for her time as California's Attorney General, particularly for her strict attendance policies that unfairly impacted minority families, making her presidential run more challenging. Despite these obstacles, her campaign was noted for its focus.
Okay, so no matter who is chosen, they will each have at least one policy that some may disagree with. Neither one of them is perfect. Which will serve the people better, the felon and known liar, or the lawyer and former attorney general from one of our states. Thank you for watching.